Hello and welcome. Today I will be presenting on the topic of student loan borrowing, a critical issue facing many students today. Here at XYZ University, we have observed a concerning trend that increased reliance on student loans to finance higher education. This surge in borrowing has raised an important question. Are students at XYZ University borrowing too much? Let's first dive into where the funding for students come from. For many students, federal financial aid is the primary resource for funding their education, and this aid is largely provided through the FAFSA, or the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. The FAFSA is an essential annual form that must be completed by both students and parents, providing detailed information about the family's financial situation to the federal government. This process determines the student's eligibility for various types of financial assistance, including federal student loans. One of the key factors in determining the amount of federal student loan funding a student can receive is the number of credit hours they have accumulated in the prior academic year. The federal government uses this information to access how much financial aid a student qualifies for, including loan amounts. It's important to note that the amount of money a student can borrow is also affected by the factors such as dependency status, the cost of attendance at their school, and whether they are considered a dependent or independent student. Federal student loans generally come in two main types, subsidized and unsubsidized. Both loans have to be repaid, do not have to be repaid until 6 months after the student graduates or fall below part-time. The subsidized loan interest does not start accruing until after repayment is due. But subsidized loans interest starts once loans are dispersed to students. This chart is illustrating the number of credit hours earned and the corresponding loan amounts awarded to students. The student levels depicted in the chart include both graduate students and independent undergraduate students. For instance, a student who has earned between 0 to 29 credit hours will be eligible to receive a total of $5,500 in student loans for the academic year. Out of this amount, $3,500 can be awarded as subsidized loans, with the remaining portion being provided as an unsubsidized loan. Over time, student loans can accumulate significantly. The interest starts to accrue while students are still in school. This interest, which continues to grow during the course of their education, adds to the overall financial burden. Interest rates play a major role in the escalating student loan debt as they cause the amount owed to increase even before the student begins repayment. As a result, students who are already borrowing large sums to cover their tuition and living expenses find themselves facing even higher debt loads. With interest continuously accumulating, the total amount owed can become overwhelming. Many students feel trapped by their growing debt, unsure of how they will manage to repay such a large sum after graduation. This mounting financial pressure can create stress and anxiety, making it difficult for students to focus on their studies. There are specific policies and procedures that must be adhered to when administering and monitoring federal financial aid. These guidelines can be accessed through resources such as studentaid.gov, where student aid policies are outlined. For financial aid administrators, the Financial Aid Handbook provides detailed instructions and regulations. These resources outline the loan amounts that can be offered as well as the procedures that must be followed to ensure compliance with federal standards. The term borrowed aid amounts refers to the total amount of student loans taken out across the United States. This data can be retrieved from the Integrated Post-Secondary Education Data Systems (IPEDS), which tracks various educational statistics. According to IPEDS, there has been a 25% increase in the average amount of student loan debt over the recent years. The long-term effects of overborrowing on post-college outcomes can be significant, particularly in the areas such as home ownership, family formation, and overall financial stability. Numerous studies and articles support the correlation between excessive student loan borrowing and negative impacts on major life milestones. These sources highlight how mounting debt can delay or even prevent graduates from achieving financial independence, purchasing homes, or starting families, ultimately affecting their financial well-being for years to come. What can be done to assist students with overborrowing, student loan debt, and ensuring that they can thrive after graduation? Here, we present three alternatives, each proposing a different approach to addressing these issues. Each alternative includes a yearly educational session about loans, which will be provided to students each year as they accept their student loans. Income-based repayment expansion. This approach would consider the student's financial situation at the time of repayment, offering a more realistic and manageable student loan payment based on their income. By adjusting repayment amounts to reflect the student's earnings, this strategy aims to ease the financial burden and help borrowers avoid falling into financial distress. Debt loan forgiveness programs. Debt loan forgiveness offers a clean slate for students who meet certain criteria, allowing for cancellation of the remaining balance of their loans. These programs will relieve students who have struggled to repay their debt, providing them with an opportunity to rebuild their rebuild their financial futures without the weight of outstanding loans holding them back. Interest rate reduction. Lowering or eliminating the interest rate on student loans would significantly reduce the overall amount of borrowing. With reduced interest, students would not accumulate as much debt over time, making it easier for them to manage their loans after graduation and improving their financial stability in the long term. These alternatives, when combined with educational resources and greater awareness, could help mitigate the challenges of student loan debt and provide students with more sustainable financial futures. Here's the matrix table that outlines the details of each alternative. The chart clearly compares the alternatives in terms of minimizing administrative costs, maximizing feasibility, and maximizing student satisfaction. It also includes projected outcomes, the data collection process, and associated costs. The information presented in this chart is valuable for gaining a deeper understanding of the potential solutions to the issue of overborrowing. My recommendation, interest rate reduction. Reducing interest rates will provide borrowers with greater financial flexibility, allowing them to direct more funds towards other essential needs such as living expenses or saving for future goals. Additionally, lower interest rates could encourage more students to pursue higher education without the looming fear of accumulating overwhelming debt. A pertinent example is the Student Loan Interest Elimination Act introduced in 2023, which proposed a 4% cap on federal student loan interest rates and the removal of interest on existing federal loans. While this proposal has not yet been passed, it underscores the potential for policy reforms aimed at lowering interest rates for student borrowers. In conclusion, reducing student loan interest rates represents a promising solution to ease the burden of student loan debt, providing both immediate relief and long-term financial stability for borrowers. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to provide you with this information. Here is my contact information if you have any questions. Again, thank you.